And 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tesla Geek Show. I'm Eli.
And I'm Anwar Beck. Oh my God, guys. I don't even know how to process this. Tesla just announced their Q2 earnings call. We've got a lot to catch up on, so let's go ahead and get started. We have a very special guest with us today. You guys have probably heard the name because he's one of our main sponsors, our friend Matt Home from the Home Team Austin, one of the top realtors in Austin, but also, more importantly, the president and founder of the Tesla Owners Club of Austin. Matt, welcome to the Tesla Geek Show.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me out here. I mean, what a crazy day. And I love that we're like jumping on this and getting excited about what's coming. I mean, I cannot believe we just got official. We sort of knew a few months ago, but to actually hear that come out of Elon's mouth, oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Oh, by the way, cheers. This is huge news.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
I'm drinking a little whiskey.
For years, they would said that Tesla couldn't be profitable. Then they were profitable for a quarter. Then it was like, well, they couldn't be profitable for more than one quarter. Then they were profitable for 2 quarters. They couldn't be profitable for a year. Tesla has now been profitable for a year.
Wow. Cheers.
Cheers. So basically the biggest announcement that came out of this, of course, Tesla achieved profitability, GAAP profit of $104 million. The street was actually expecting them to not be profitable. A lot of what I was seeing, the consensus. So 4 consecutive profitable quarters. It's massive news. They grew their cash balance to over $535 million. And basically what this sets up for Tesla now is that Tesla is eligible for S&P 500 inclusion, which has massive implications for them going forward financially.
So I was looking at the numbers. And so not only did Tesla grow their cash balance by $535 million, they're now sitting on $8.6 billion in cash. So their war chest grew in the coronavirus, in the COVID shutdown quarter. So then the S&P inclusion on top of that. So I was looking at the numbers based upon how many shares they would have to buy of Tesla stock. It translates to all the S&P indexes would have to buy 28% of the outstanding Tesla shares. That's huge, guys. 28% of the stock would have to be bought up by all the S&P investment holders.
Massive. And right now, I mean, definitely the after hours trading where Tesla is up almost 4%. It finished the day today up 1.5%. So over, 5% increase. I think tomorrow is going to be an epic day. I don't know what
might be time to put those shorts on, Anwar Beck. I know you got a pair. I got a pair coming.
Thankfully, they haven't come in yet, or we would have to wear them on this call.
We'd be wearing them right now.
I know, man. Crazy. Eli, anything else you want to talk from a financial standpoint before we go to the other massive news that came out of the call?
Yeah, so I say on the financial standpoint, one of the things that not a lot of people talked about prior to this call, which was actually something I had called out on Twitter, but actually specifically did even just a few hours before the release, was that they're going to be profitable because a lot of people discounted or didn't even pay attention to the fact that they cut OPEX with employee costs during Q2, right when the coronavirus shutdown hit. They cut executives' pay by 30%, they cut directors and above by 20%, and everyone else by 10%. That's a big decrease in OPEX that helped them maintain profitability during this challenging quarter. And it was great because that was like the first sentence in their investor letter was how that played a factor in contributing to their profitability. So that was pretty cool to see that they were able to make that adjustment. Now, Tesla has already put everyone's pay back to normal now July 1, and things will be steaming back for the future quarter. But it was great that they made the adjustment they needed to get through that really hard time.
Yeah, so you're totally right. They moved very, very quickly. Like hindsight, if you're looking back, I mean, Tesla made those calls immediately, right when, things started with the pandemic. So hats off to them for making those adjustments quickly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then there were some other things that were big on the call. Anwar Beck, you want to jump into some of those?
Dude, I can't. I'm still like shaking a little bit. This news is something that like Matt and I have been dreaming about. We're both from Austin, Texas. We call Austin home. Matt is kind of like an older brother to me. We met. The background of how Matt and I met we both live in Texas in the same state, but Matt is the founder, president of the Austin Tesla Owners Club. I was the president of the North Houston Tesla Owners Club, but we met, what was it, Matt, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago?
3 or 4 years ago in Fremont at the Leadership Summit,
Yeah.
and got stuck at the same table together and just clicked.
It was
unbelievable.
It was super random. Again, we just happened to sit at the same table. We clicked, like, you know, when you meet somebody and like you become instant best friends. It was like that. Matt became kind of a mentor, older brother figure to me, and so now we're both. Thanks to Matt, I'm in the real estate business.
Okay, this guy comes to me and tells me, he's like, okay, I'm working in oil and gas. It's not, I hate the ethos. I want to get out of that. I mean, I'm a huge Tesla proponent, and I work in oil and gas. It makes no sense. There's no connect. And he's like, you seem like you're happy doing what you do. What do you do again? I tell him what I do. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas. The market's amazing, blah, 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 all this, business related stuff. And he's like, yeah, I want to do what you do. I'm like, okay, cool. Move to Austin. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job in oil and gas, like youngest VP in history at Anadarko, rise in the ranks. No reason to leave that good job to come just join me to go to work. What does the guy do? Sells his house, travels the world for a year, shows up in Austin and goes, hey, I'm ready to work. And here we are. It's awesome.
So basically, I joke with people that Matt and I are realtors by day and Tesla geeks by night. So this recent massive news is both of our
you're a
worlds
Tesla geek 24 hours a day. You just happen to sell real estate.
That's true. Actually, that's a better
way
to
put your
it.
Success.
But our worlds have collided. This real estate and Tesla world have collided. Elon just announced, he made it 100% official, that Tesla is building a Giga Factory in Texas, in Austin, Texas, of all places.
19 minutes from where I'm sitting.
Yep. So, Matt, why don't you let me give our listeners kind of a high level overview if they haven't been keeping up with this news. It's been going on for several months. Basically, this is over 2,100 acres, in Austin, Texas. It's in an area called Del Valley, right across from the airport. I think we're like 5 minutes. That area is about 5 minutes from the airport, about 15 minutes from downtown, East Austin. But Elon kind of shed some light on what this would be. So what they're planning on doing is basically, he kind of coined it ecological paradise. So this area, the property starts just north of Colorado River. The highway 130 runs through the middle of this property, basically, of this 2,000 acres. And Elon basically said it's a hiking, biking trail open to the public. So it kind of sounds like he wants to make this thing super beautiful. And this, what they're calling Terra Texas, Giga Austin, is going to be the production place for Cybertruck, the Semi, and Model 3 and Model Y for the eastern half of America. So the way I'm understanding it is we're still going to do production out of California. So I think he kind of gave some details. We're going to continue to make Model S and X, Model 3 and Model Y. And he did also reiterate that Roadster will be produced out of California. But that's kind of now, California will be handling one coast or one half of the United States. And this new factory announced in Austin, Texas is going to handle the other half of the coast, basically. And Matt, you've been very involved, not only from the very beginning, you were there, maybe shed some light on back in 2013, when Elon came to Texas. I think you were there front and center helping Elon and Tesla try to get, the sale of Teslas legal in Texas. You helped start the Tesla Owners Club, and then maybe transition and talk about, this factory. What do you think that means for the city of Austin, the state of Texas? Sure. And yeah, just go ahead and take it away, man.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, 2012, I ordered in November, I ordered my Model S. It arrived in March of 2013. And it was the week that Elon was coming out to try to get legalization of direct sales in Texas. And a bunch of us went down. We had kind of this loose Google chat group, and we went down to the Capitol and we were giving testimony. I sat the row behind Elon during the testimony. And then I got there really early in the morning. I gave rides to press and was talking about how amazing the car is and how silly, not being able to have direct sales here was, et cetera. And after the testimony, Elon and his people sought me out, and Elon came up to me and said, hey, I saw your news clips that happened this morning. How can I say thank you? I'm like, I don't know, can you sign my license plate? Can you sign my sun visor? So there's like video somewhere on some news channel of him in my car signing my sun visor. I got my license plate still that's signed by him. And so that was 2013. I thought, oh, it's logical. Why would we not have direct sales? It's going to happen. Well, essentially, we had a Groundhog's Day 2015. So our congressional session meets every 2 years in Texas to push through these bills. So 13 was the first attempt, 15, 17, 19, Elon actually pulled the plug last minute and said, hey, you know what? We're not going to fight this uphill battle again. Essentially, the auto dealership lobby has just put so much money and time and effort and inane arguments that make no sense, but somehow have magically worked the political system to the point where they've kept direct sales out of Texas. So I'm assuming that part of the deal that hopefully he made with the governor is going to allow for direct sales, because I want to be able to go down to the factory 19 minutes away, pick up my Cybertruck next year or this year, and drive it 19 minutes home, not have it shipped back to California, put it on a third-party truck and have it shipped back here, right? So they're going to have to work this out. So that's been the ride that we've had for legalization, and we still haven't won. But basically, a handful of us went out for happy hour, very similar to this. Cheers. After the political, side in 13, and I threw a party. We had probably 30 people about 2 weeks after. Oh no, 2 months after we all met. We'd gone to Cars and Coffee, and I've thrown an annual party at my house for the last 7 years. This year with COVID, probably not, but we're trying to figure out a substitute. We're doing a drive-in movie thing. So anyway, done all kinds of events, track days. We have a Formula One track here. Just tons of active activities for the club, and it's just been a labor of love. And so the idea of bringing the Giga Factory and Tesla and marrying that with my business I've been here working on for almost 13 years into one whole business passion project is just absolutely phenomenal. And I've got Anwar Beck to help me and a handful of other agents and an awesome team behind us. It's just going to be incredible. That site in particular, we were looking north and south. That site is ideal. The other ones were going to be about 40 minutes outside of town. This is right next to the airport, right next to a major I-30 toll road that really doesn't get used too much to go north and south and avoid all the traffic on 35. You've got a direct line going east to Houston. So if you need to go to the port, you're 3 hours from Houston. So you can ship and not go through the Panama Canal. You can hit the East Coast. You can hit Europe if you need to. And we've already got the SpaceX Waco area is the testing facility for SpaceX. And then Brownsville is being developed as the SpaceX launch site. So we're right in the middle of that. So I'm hoping this dovetails into a Tesla / SpaceX campus potentially, or that they also choose to bring SpaceX here, because if he's building a Terrafactory, why would Elon not spend a lot of time here, right? And if he's going to be here, what other companies would he bring along? So I think this just opens the door for some incredible opportunity in a town that's already on fire. When I say on fire, I'll give you some quick metrics. I don't want to bore anybody, but Apple has 1 million square feet. They finished up a year ago. They're halfway through filling that up with employees. They're adding a second 1 million square feet. It's going to be the largest campus outside of California in the world that they've got, and I think will actually exceed it. Google's in the middle of building a 35-story tower 5 minutes from here on Town Lake. It's going to house 5,000 software engineers. So they're bringing basically California talent this direction. That's a handful of business. Facebook dropped the ball. They only built 260,000 square feet. They wish they'd built 1 million square feet. They're scrambling for office space downtown. And now with COVID, I think what's going to happen, people are like, what's going to happen with offices? I think you're going to get occupancy that will have to be less than, so they're actually going to need more office space to handle this number of people that they project to bring here. So what does that mean for Austin? And when I say Tesla's the icing on the cake, it's sort of the beginning of a inertial ball, this snowball that's turning into an avalanche that's coming here. That is tech is truly, this is going to be the epicenter for tech. And I 100% believe that. I feel like Austin right now is San Francisco in 1984. Tech is in its infancy. Things are, imagine if you could have bought a piece of real estate in San Francisco in the 80s or 90s. What would you be doing? What would that look like right now? And so, we've still got affordability. The price points are for every price point. I've helped people buy $250,000 houses and $4 million houses. There's everything in between. And so you can't say that about most major metros. So I'm excited to see the Giga Factory come. I want to try to help as many Tesla employees and Tesla fans and anybody interested that's moving here. Like, we have a window right now in the next year or two, I think, where all of this stuff snowballs, and there's certain pockets around Austin that are going to be greatly affected by Tesla, and rightly so, because the numbers he's bringing. I mean, the sheer numbers of jobs, just the construction employment that's going to come off of building the biggest gigafactory in the world is going to be staggering, right? Then you start going from 5 to 10,000 to 15,000 to 20,000 and plus employees. You know, what does that look like? So to say I'm excited, and this is like the perfect match of like everything in my life coming together at like the exact time, it's hard to express. Cheers. I don't know what else to say.
Cheers again. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Matt, I know that Tesla, like the policy team and all these guys, they got you involved pretty early in the process, since you're the president of the local club, just to get all the Tesla owners kind of involved. And it wasn't an easy, like, this has been happening for several weeks now. Can you shed some light on like, so this now the official Tesla factory, what were some of the uphill battles and different things that Tesla dealt with the past several weeks? Because
Sure.
it has something to do with like Del Valley ISD, some tax incentives, and Elon still honestly was shopping around. He said Tulsa, Oklahoma,
He
and
did.
Austin were
Yeah.
finalists, and he spent time in Tulsa. And even on the call, he mentioned he thanked the governor. What that
Yeah.
tells me of Tulsa, of Oklahoma, what that tells me is they were honestly neck and neck, very, very final, viable locations. Austin wasn't a sure thing.
It was not a sure thing. A lot of people think it was, and I think, you know, I know some details, and I know that Tulsa was offering 7 or 8 times what the tax rebates are that they were getting here, right? And so they were just trying to basically buy Elon and make him move to Tulsa. But you know, the fact that Texas and Tesla only off by a couple letters there, has already got SpaceX launch site. The autopilot software and design team is actually here in town as well, have a little office here. So there's already a lot going on in Texas. And I was waiting on, because usually Tesla reaches out when it gets to a point where they need something to happen. And so we heard rumors of it being north in Hutto. Didn't hear anything really from Tesla. We heard rumors of San Marcos in the south, didn't hear anything from Tesla. So about a month and a half, 2 months ago, some of Tesla corporate reached out to me and said, hey, we're looking at a site in East Austin, and it's probably going to be come out soon that it's a possibility. As soon as that comes out, you know, we need to activate some of the club, and we need to do a letter or email writing campaign. We need to start getting on these Zoom calls. And so essentially we had to convince, along with Tesla, who had a fantastic pitch, with full of benefits, but you had to convince the commissioners and judges of Travis County, and we had to convince Del Valley ISD to accept a $68 million rebate. And so people are saying, hey, why are we giving these rebates to a massive company? It doesn't make any sense. Well, the way I explained it is you're getting rebates only if you're net positive. This is a rebate for a fixed period of time for 10 years. And the net positive to the school district is still 10, 15 times X what the current tax base is paying into in that area, right? So it's a net positive. Really, there weren't a ton of, in my opinion, objections that made a lot of sense. You could tell there were a lot of folks from unions that were saying, hey, you know, we want the union to be a part of this, and they were sort of half negative because I think they still want to find a window to get in as the union. We had you know, people that were complaining that you know, it's going to increase traffic in the area. Make sure the environmental studies were done. Hey, you know, I got the feeling that one of the commissioners wanted to slow roll everything to just sort of milk more or either less rebate out of Elon, or I don't know, look for possible more opportunities. But I mean, Tesla came in, did it really smartly, and said, we're going to have an education branch that's really going to grow from within in that Del Valley, you know, side. We've got 3/4 of the jobs that are going to be at the Tesla Giga Factory are going to be blue collar jobs. Assembly jobs, you know, things that you can do with a high school education. That's huge. So they're going to have high school programs that are going to take these students and bring them up into the Tesla program after training in high school. And if they want to go straight to work, they can go straight to work at Tesla, and then opportunities to move vertically within the company, right? And so they've gone through these And so 3/4 of the entire program, or the entire Gigafactory, being blue collar, really is huge, especially for the area on the east side where they're drawing from, because that speaks directly to the community there. So I felt like the naysayers, and you could tell there were a few shills for the auto dealership lobby, who were making comments that were just complete lies about quality control and safety issues, and just completely bogus, to me, ridiculous sounding arguments. But we were able to get enough of us on calls and Zooms that I think we got a lot of local folks, and we got a lot of folks from the Tesla Club who activated and said, hey, we're going to support Tesla. We're going to help push this through. So, it was a complete team effort. We've gotten a few messages from some of the Tesla corporate people saying, hey, thanks. We appreciate it. It's nice to be appreciated. And we're actually going to organize a club drive. We're trying to figure out a caravan spot. We're going to get and see if we can get, I don't know, 50 or 100 or more of us in line, and just do a little drive through the Gigafactory site, and maybe up and down 130. So I got to get flags made. I don't know if I can get a rush order in time, but I was hoping to do something like that.
Dude,
but yeah, it's exciting stuff. It's an amazing opportunity, and I mean, it did not come easily.
Yep. Yeah. I'm still having a hard time like processing, because we've like locally here in Austin, Texas, Matt and I, as president and vice president of the Tesla Owners Club, we've been very actively trying to engage the local residents in Travis County, the local Tesla owners. For us, because we're sitting here in Austin, this has been an uphill battle trying to stand up for Tesla, trying to let the local politicians here know that we want Tesla here. This is going to be massive, definitely for Del Valley, that area of Austin, but for Austin in general, I think this is huge. Like people have now been calling Austin Silicon Hills. So instead of Silicon Valley, now that Tesla kind of is the final period, like the statement that like tech is here in Austin, Texas. And Austin is kind of like this oasis in the middle of this red state. It's very like kind of a liberal, democratic. It's got these like, a lot of people from California feel very comfortable here because of that. But I think now that Tesla is going to be committed to this area, and I'm hoping that not only the Gigafactory, but Elon mentioned maybe possibly moving the headquarters to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elon himself is actually going to move to Austin. And
okay, which of us is going to help Elon buy a house?
Both of us do.
Okay, all right, we'll team up on that one.
Well, although he did sell 5 homes in LA, I don't know if Elon is going to be buying homes. Eli, what do you think? It kind of sounds like he like doesn't want to mess with home ownership anymore.
I got a spare bedroom. He can crash over here. That's fine. I can just call this the Elon room.
He is pretty clearly done buying. I think he's just going to rent. So,
but it makes total sense. From being that location being 5 minutes from the airport, Elon can jump on his private jet and be in Brownsville or Boca Chica in like 30 minutes. So I've got a feeling the next 5-10 years, a lot of the activity, a lot of the growth, the building is going to happen in Texas, because both from Tesla and SpaceX side, this is kind of just some of the stuff that I've been seeing. So I think it's going to be massive.
That's a good prediction, because Starship manufacturing is happening in Texas, and that's kind of the future of Tesla. I mean, SpaceX is going to build a fleet of 1,000 Starships, right?
Yep.
That's like more than they'll make of every other rocket they ever build combined. So they're building an assembly line there. Next big manufacturing is going to be in Texas for Tesla, and that's to serve both the East Coast and central to East Coast. So yeah, I think Elon's going to be spending a lot more of his time in Texas.
What do you guys think about Elon's? I don't know if Elon said this on Twitter, but there's people think that I think Tesla's been on record saying they want to start producing Model Y out of this Texas factory by the end of this year, like in 6 months. And Cybertruck is scheduled for December of 21, so in about 18 months. It seems like a little bit too aggressive of a schedule, but I will say something. Since Matt and I live here, I literally drive to that location all the time for real estate purposes. And I'll share this really cool project that's out there as well, which is crazy. So like it happened almost pure coincidence. But Tesla's actually, and Elon talked about this on the earnings call, they've actually already started. They broke ground. I've seen like, it doesn't say Tesla, but you could tell it's clearly activity. They're leveling this is going to be fast. Like Elon's going to move very, very quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he will, and I know which project you're talking about. I actually have some clients who are in the Tesla Club as well who bought there a month ago, or they have a home in contract. But it's actually a neighborhood that is within 8 minutes of the Giga Factory. It's got geothermal heating and cooling in each house. So if you don't know what that is, they basically go down like 60 feet where there's a constant temperature, and it keeps your house and at that whatever that level is, where it's like, say you like your house at 68 degrees, all it does is a fan spins, and winter or summer, that temperature in the earth is the same temperature. So it's automatic heating and cooling. All they're doing is circulating that air through. So geothermal, solar on every house, single story plans, so because they're more efficient that way. Spray foam insulation, tankless water heaters. They're attempting to do as close to a net zero as possible right now. And it just so happens to be within like 8 minutes of the Giga Factory, which is incredible. In fact,
isn't that
Marbeck,
crazy?
you and I have an appointment tomorrow to go over there and talk to the developer. Actually,
Yeah.
no, Friday.
Yep.
And see if we can figure out some kind of Tesla special. Because
Eli, so this company Taurus, the developers, they started this project in 2006. So this isn't like they didn't do it. They bought 2,000 acres just 5 minutes north of Tesla's 2,000 acres and have been building this eco village, essentially, like eco-friendly. Everything is all techie. They got geothermal. They got solar on every roof. And actually, I went there the other day. You know what they have? Each house has a heat pump, like in the Model Y.
No way.
I'm not kidding. You can't make this stuff up. And it's right there. I mean, I'm talking like it's a 5-minute drive to the Cybertruck factory. So I'm assuming Tesla employees that'll be working in that area, most likely. And this area is called Whisper Valley. But yeah, Matt and I are big. Like, we love this area. It's a cool development, and it just fits with the Tesla ethos, like this environmentally friendly. If you care about the environment and you want a cool house, and it's a new development, and they've only, the way I understand it, there's 7 phases of this project. Ultimately, they want to build 7,000 homes, and they've only built roughly 200. Phase 1, they're just wrapping up. So they're still, like, the growth is going to happen over the next 5 years, and they're literally sitting in Tesla's backyard.
Yeah,
It's
could not have planned it better. It's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll finish up a little bit. Like, we spent a lot of time talking about the Texas factory because we're so excited. And Matt, it's so good to finally have you on the podcast as well. Thank you again for sponsoring the Tesla Geek Show. Matt believed in Eli and I early on, and yeah, we really appreciate your friendship and your support for the Tesla Geek Show.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure sponsoring you guys. I mean, I love listening to all the podcasts. And you had another local Tesla Austin owner, Christy Morgan, on, who's part of the club a few weeks ago, which was really cool to hear. So I appreciate being part of it, guys. And
you guys
keep up the good work.
You guys stole her from me, man. She was a member of the My Tesla Adventure Tesla Owners Club, but then she moved from Silicon Valley to Austin, and I lost her to you guys. So no, her and her husband Wes are great people. And back out to catch up there with you guys. Before we wrap this up real quick, there was something on the earnings call that, like, I think could have easily gotten washed over and happened towards the end. Elon talked about Tesla insurance, and something that we all kind of figured, but he talked about that one of the games in the insurance place where they're going to win is right now, when your vehicle gets damaged, a lot of times it's body damage. It doesn't matter what car you have. It can be incredibly expensive to fix because there's a disconnect between the insurance company, the car maker, the body shop that repairs it. And Tesla, they can not only fix these things at cost, but if they find that certain things are unnecessarily expensive or overly expensive to repair, they can just change the design of the vehicle to make it so that in the future, when these certain type of common crashes happen, they can repair it for less money. And that is an insane competitive advantage that not only does no auto insurance company even have, no automaker is even thinking about.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Like, when he said that, in my head, I'm like, oh my God. He basically said he wants to create a revolutionary insurance company within Tesla.
Yeah. And he even said it's going to be one of the biggest auto insurance companies. Like,
and he put out a call. I mean, it seemed like the half of the earnings call was a PR for people to come work at Tesla. But here he specifically said, I want high energy actuaries. He's like, if you're good at math, you need to be at Tesla. So Allstate and State Farm, these guys better watch out, dude. Like,
what industry is Elon not revolutionizing at this point? This is insane. I mean, like, energy, space flight, potentially plane flight. I mean, Giga Factory that's going to create. I mean, what else is going to come out of this thing? This is going to be the biggest factory in the world. What else is really going to come off the assembly line when it's at full production? I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Solar panels, power walls.
I mean, all that's left is he needs to invent a cryptocurrency, which some people believe he did.
Dogecoin.
It's either Dogecoin or Bitcoin.
Dude, I actually let me throw this in, guys. I had this like thought years ago because I'm really big into crypto, like Bitcoin and all that. I had this idea, like imagine a world where there could be some sort of Tesla coin. So here's what I mean, like in a world where a Tesla house that has Tesla roof generating energy, storing it, there's a value to energy, right? So you can call it like 100 Tesla coins. And then your smart house, your Jarvis, you say, hey, Jarvis, call me a Tesla Uber. This thing comes and the house directly pays with the energy equivalent Tesla coins or whatever they have, the cryptocurrency. They pay directly to the Model 3 that's there to pick you up without a driver, the autonomous Tesla fleet. I could totally see this world where Tesla could have its own currency, its own ecosystem.
I completely agree. Yeah, like people don't really understand when Elon keeps banging the drum about how they're going to be an energy business and all these things. It's bigger. They're going to have all these different services that it makes a heck of a lot of sense at some point where you stop using fiat currency and just exchange value within the network, right? That's what you're talking about. You're talking about it like, and that's effectively what currency does, but making it a network specific. And I have a feeling that could be a win-win for everyone because you control the transaction costs.
Yep. Well, before we wrap up, I just want to give another shout out to Matt. Let me give a quick. So Matt Home, he's from California originally, but he's been a realtor in Austin for over 12 years. This guy is one of the top realtors in Austin. He works with a badass brokerage called Compass. He's been a top 10 realtor, over 1,100 transactions, something like that, Matt.
Almost 1,200, but yeah, who's counting?
Okay, who's counting? You know what you're doing. If you can give our listeners like where can they follow you? If people are interested with this massive news in investing in Austin, Texas, in real estate, you do commercial as well, not only residential. Like, how can people reach out to you? And just give people a little bit of a background on what they
so
can
a little bit of
expect with real
background.
estate.
Yeah, so definitely appreciate it. Thank you, guys. But residential, commercial development, that's the nice part about real estate is it's grown. I started just as residential, and I still love to help my first-time home buyers. You know, you can get a house in Austin, Texas for $250,000 to $300,000 as a first-time home buyer. It's not an opportunity that happens in a lot of places. And then I've grown into commercial, helping people with businesses, some land development on the 35 corridor, basically building out neighborhoods. So I do a little bit of everything. The way to get a hold of me, the best way is to text me. I know it sounds weird. People are, why do you give out your phone number? That's what I do. You're going to reach me. There's not like a layer between me and anybody else. So it's 512-769-1695. And our website is Home Team Austin, HOLM, teamaustin.com. You'll see Anwar Beck's pretty picture on there too, along with the rest of our team. And
The Tesla
we truly
team
are here to help you. Relocation, you want to just invest, you want to just pick our brains on like, you know, what's a good area, what's a good investment strategy. I've got clients working in the short-term rental space. I've got clients working in everything from commercial, multifamily, a ton of residential. And we've got the team equipped to be able to handle everything you guys need. So guys, thank you again. I love that I got a chance to pop on here on such an auspicious day. I mean, this is an insane day for Austin, Texas. I cannot believe how fortunate I am to be able to be here.
Oh, by the way, let's link. So Matt and I created a relocation guide, an Austin relocation guide specifically for Tesla, our friends that work at Tesla. But if you guys are Tesla fans, I would definitely look at this guide as well. It's amazing. It kind of gives a little bit of background about me and Matt and the rest of our team. But also, most importantly, it tells you like different sections of Austin and what's cool about it. So if you guys are interested, Eli and I will link that below here as well. So check it out and definitely give Matt a shout if you guys are interested in come into the future home of the next Giga Factory.
And look, if you work for Tesla, we know a fair number of you are going to be moving to Austin in a year. So hit up Matt Holm of the home team when you do. Matt, thank you so much for joining us on this very special earnings call edition of the Tesla Geek Show. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Tesla Geek Show.
I still can't believe we got the factory.
Matt's like, nope, I ain't dancing.